Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you know what we're doing?
Yeah, we're doing, it's where we read things and stuff.
Ooh, I know. It's
yeah?
the Sacrilegious Book Club.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
We haven't done one of these in a while.
I know. So I need to, do the whole, this is where we are.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
let us have it.
Okay, so we are reading from A Treasury of Jewish Folklore. Stories, traditions, legends, humor, wisdom, and folk songs of the Jewish people.
Okay.
Edited by Nathan Ozibel.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
So part 1 was Jewish salt, and we are in part 2, which is heroes.
Okay.
And under heroes, we've learned about wise men, and now we are learning about holy men.
Holy men, huh?
Holy men. But I'm not done. I got to break it down a little further.
Okay.
Yeah. Under holy men, we've learned about pious and righteous men, charitable men, and martyrs.
Okay.
Today we are learning about the power of prayer on page 157.
Non-existent.
What? Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's go get into this.
Okie dokie.
All right.
Okay, so the power of prayer.
Power of prayer.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that you might end up liking this section.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So just give it a chance.
I'm going to give it a chance.
Okay. So I'm going to read a bit more extensively from the introduction than normal because Ozzy Bell quotes the Agata and talks about several different things that I think will be important in understanding the various stories that we might hit on today.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So he starts the introduction thus. The Agata of the Talmud relates how once the Roman Emperor Antoninus, who was a philosopher, asked Rabbanu HaKadesh, "Give me your opinion. Is it right to pray frequently to God?"
Okay.
What do you think the answer is?
No.
Very good.
And I'll tell you why I think that, even though I don't believe in prayer in the first place, and I think it's worthless. But praying frequently, you're asking too much shit from somebody. You know, it's like if you ask somebody for something all the time, you know,
Right.
like just stop asking, dude.
Stop asking.
Right.
Yeah. That's close.
Okay.
Close.
All right.
You're in the right ballpark.
All right.
You are correct that yes, you don't
yeah.
do that too
Don't
often.
do that. Got it.
Don't do that.
Okay.
It is not right, answered Rabbanu.
Okay.
Why not? One must not become too familiar with God.
See?
This answer failed to satisfy Antoninus. So early the next morning, Ravenel again called on the emperor, and as he entered the room, he cried out, "Peace be with you, O mighty Caesar!" A little while later, he repeated the salutation. "Peace be with you, O mighty Caesar!" For a third time that morning, he returned and cried, "Peace be with you, O mighty Caesar!"
Yeah.
At this, Antoninus became angry because he was not seeing the equivalence to what they had literally just discussed because he's fucking thick.
Right. They never. It's a.
I know.
They have to make them thick.
I know.
That's the way this goes.
I know. This isn't like really what happened, obviously. It's just, I hate it when it's like so fucking down your throat annoying, obvious.
Yeah.
"What is this mummery?" he asked Ravenel angrily. "Clearly you wish to make sport of me." "May your ears hear the words of your own mouth," replied Ravenel. "O Caesar, if you, who are only a ruler of flesh and blood, take offense when I bore you with my too many greetings, how do you suppose the King of Kings would regard it?"
Right.
"Certainly it is wrong to impose too much on God with prayer."
I have to take a second here, because if God is taking prayers from like everybody in the planet / universe,
right,
I don't think like 1 extra or 2 extra prayers is really gonna push him over the edge,
Well, and then there's also what are we talking about with prayer? Like, there's different components to prayer, which this section does not hit on.
Right.
There's like, he's just addressing being greeted.
Sure.
Like, God is great. God is great. Hey, God is great. But then there's also, as you were mentioning, the asking for things part.
Well, and I kind of take affront to this because, like, God wants people to worship him, which means that they have to go through these rituals where they do pray.
Right.
And they call on him. And I'm like, but he literally tells you to do these things.
Right.
And wants you to do these things because he is a jealous God. Because he wants all this attention.
Right. All this
But
glory.
now you're telling me, but there's a line somewhere in the fucking sand, somewhere that you could maybe sort of kind of cross by addressing God too often.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like bullshit to me.
It does sound like bullshit to me also. There's like a disconnect between what God is demanding versus the practicality that the Jewish people have.
Right.
And I kind of admire the Jewish people's way more than the God's way.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is more, even I blame Christians for doing this more than Jewish people.
Sure.
But this is cherry picking. Mm-hmm. This is wanting it to be something that you want as a person. Yeah. This is what you think. Yeah. It's not what the Bible kind of indicates,
no,
really.
Yeah, that's not the rules set forth.
Right.
The rules set forth are pray all the fucking time.
Right.
Pray loud, proud, pray quiet, pray in your closet, pray when you're peeing, pray all the time. Yeah. Always be in prayer.
Right.
Is what we've been led to believe is what God expects and wishes and desires.
Right, right.
And now this guy's like, he don't want all that.
Yeah.
It's like, how do
maybe
you know?
The meaning of prayer changed in the time, from Moses to whenever this guy is writing this. Like maybe what the definition of prayer has changed. But even that in and of itself is counter to what the Bible is. Like the Bible is supposed to be a law that these people live by. Mm-hmm. And so prayer wouldn't change. Yeah. But it did and it does. Clearly because they don't, aside from a few very specific and randomly, there's like one church in Israel that still sacrifices animals, or at least tries to anyway.
Yeah.
But most of them don't do that anymore. Right. So like obviously prayer has changed, right?
Clearly.
The Jewish people don't generally sacrifice animals anymore.
Right.
But it shouldn't really. Mm-hmm. It's still the word of God.
Right.
So it's odd to me that you can accept these changes that are counter to your texts.
I mean, similarly, it's the question of if you're finding workarounds to not work on the Sabbath, aren't you missing the point?
Right, right. Yeah, no, and that's right in line with what I'm getting at.
You're kind of doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing what the Bible expected you to do.
Right. Right.
So,
but then that allows for people to be like, well, see, you guys just weren't worshiping the correct way. So now we're, and then that's when religious fanatics come in and they're like, if we don't go back to the base idea, then we're just never going to be correct.
Right. And it's like, Okay, but which base on which day?
Right.
So, yeah. To continue, so we're going back to, that was the end of that little section, and now we're in Ausubel's words.
Okay.
In the introduction.
Yep.
He says, this legend reflects so trenchantly the thoroughly unpietistic, meaning not pious,
Right.
common sense approach to prayer in rabbinic tradition.
Okay.
Okay. A few bits later, he says, the sages taught God longs for the prayer of the pious. And by that, they meant that God took no pleasure in punishing men, no matter how justified. Which I'm like, I disagree. That's not what I've read.
That's debatable.
Mm-hmm. He was eager for them to appeal to his attribute of love in order that by their prayers, they might alter all his retributive decrees.
He barely tolerated these people.
Right.
Stop.
Exactly.
Sorry, we're yelling at our cat.
Yeah, she's being a butthole.
Yeah.
And we even fed her before, so I'm not sure why she's getting up in arms here. Okay, so to continue, a few sentences down, he says, in Jewish tradition, there are many forms of prayer. In earlier primitive times, it meant sacrifice.
Right.
Which, you said.
Yeah.
In Hellenistic, that's Greek days, one could also pray with healthy, productive work, which maintains the fabric of the world. So like acts.
Yeah.
Doing good acts.
Right.
Let's see. He says it was also valid to pray with the giving of material aid to the needy and extending a helping hand to a fellow creature in distress. So I find that really interesting because several Christians today are like, absolutely not. Acts alone will not get you into heaven.
Right, right.
And it's funny but acts alone used to be considered a form of prayer.
Yeah. But is it acts alone, or it doesn't specify
faith
that
and acts. You're right. You're right.
And moreover, even if when we're reading the Old Testament, acts are part of the laws in the Levitical law.
And therein lies the difference.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting because basically this all depends on intention, right?
Right.
That's basically what he's saying is, what is your intention when back then they were sacrificing, or further on, what was your intention when you were doing these good acts?
Right, right.
And if a man prayed full of heart, he says, it did not matter what words he used or whether he used any at all. And
so I kind of agree with that at some level, right? Like, to me, most Christians that I know, most Christians that I encounter in the world give their faith lip service.
Right.
And don't actually adhere to the faith that they believe in.
Right.
Like they're all for it, but if it means not doing this or not doing that, then they're going to continue to do those things.
Right.
Right. So I feel like anybody who fully, even though I don't believe in religion or gods, right? Somebody who is fully behind what they believe in and from the heart is a much more sincere person than somebody who doesn't believe what they claim to believe. Right. So
exactly. It reminds me of when I was in high school, and I went to a high school where it was not in the best area. It was in San Antonio, and I found out years later that all the pregnant girls got sent there.
Oh,
so yeah.
Wow.
So
okay.
They had a child care on campus and like parenting classes and shit like that.
Right.
So if that tells you anything, and I'm not knocking anybody who got pregnant during high school. I got pregnant right out of high school, so I fit right in with them. I'm just saying, if that gives you any indication, it was the norm where I was at.
Right.
Where I'm going with this is, I remember so many girls that I went to high school with. They would party and cuss and drink alcohol and just do all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And have all the sex with all the boys, right?
Yeah.
And then they would get pregnant, and suddenly it was like, oh, I can't have an abortion because that's against God. And I'm like, suddenly you're religious?
Right.
Where did that happen?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you believed I never saw you pray once. I never saw you go to church. I never saw you feel guilty
I'll
for
tell you
your
where it happened.
things?
It happened after they talked to their parents and their church leader,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Oh, I suck."
Yeah.
Like they were made to feel guilty for what they did, and so they all of a sudden
became pious.
They realize that they have lived this life of religious behavior, but have broken it recently, and when they've gotten older, and then they get reminded of it when they screw up, and so they then fall right back into it. It's an easy thing to do, I think. Like, oh, I screwed up. I better look for
I got to be
the
religious
fix
again
here
now.
in religion,
Yeah.
right? So, and there's a lot of people that I have met. They claim that they were atheist for a while. Well, for a while, meaning that they left religion, quote unquote. I don't ever really believe that, but like that means to me that they grew up heavily in religion, then decided they wanted to party during their 20s or whatever, and then at some point they just you settle down. You decide, hey, I want to do this, that, and the other, and so there's two things that happen. Either they meet somebody that brings them back to God, or they hit such a all-time low in their life that there's just no other choice, and somebody confronts them with, hey, there's God,
Right.
So that brings them back into the fold, so to speak.
That is an interesting thought process.
Yeah.
To continue.
Sorry.
No, I'm the one that took it off the rails. I mean, you were looking at me like, how does all this relate?
I was wondering where you're going with that.
But I tied it back together, didn't I?
You did.
Mm-hmm. So he goes on to say, quite different was the concept of prayer among the Kabbalists. So this is people who are a little more, what would we call it? Like hardcore, radical. That's the word I'm thinking of.
Sure.
A little more radical.
Yeah.
They took the somewhat mystical, erotic view that prayer was a communion as intimate between the worshiper and God as that between the bride and bridegroom.
Okay.
Which I found that statement interesting because a lot of Christian hokey-pokey has to do with comparing the church as the bridegroom and we're the bride, or maybe the church is the bride and we're the bridegroom. I don't know.
Right.
And there's this whole marriage thing happening, and it's kind of gross, honestly.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a really interesting take.
Yeah.
So he goes on to talk about rainmakers, and we're not talking about like people who make it rain, like with money and stuff.
Okay.
We're talking about like legit rain.
Okay. Yep.
So rainmaker stories arose among the Jews from the necessities of their physical surroundings. Duh.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
In olden times, as we know, Palestine had a primitive agricultural economy. There were long spells of dry weather. It was an earnest invocation for rainfall because drought meant hunger and death.
Right. And then we see that throughout the Bible too. Like that's a big
absolutely
theme.
Yeah. The first Jewish rainmakers on record, thought you'd find this interesting, were the prophet Samuel and Elijah.
Oh, okay.
Who, by the power of their prayer, brought rain.
Got it.
The general view among the Jews of olden times was that drought was visited upon the land as divine punishment for the nation's collective evildoing.
Right.
And conversely, national virtue was rewarded by a plentiful rainfall.
Got it. I just can't imagine thinking that you're being rewarded and punished for these things.
Right? Yeah. I am not even... I can't even get into that. Like, it's just so weird.
Right.
It has to do with like, this school got shot up. That's because we don't have, it's because we have too many gays in America.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
How did you, that is such an arbitrary correlation.
Right. But there's literally and that's the part that always hangs me up with people that argue things like that. And there's literally examples of nations that are much more atheist and much more secular that don't have guns, that have had basically no incidents like that. No, it's not about your fucking God. It's about the laws and the ideas that are in that society. And we have the wrong fucking ideas and laws.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yeah, totally agree. So while rainmaking is no longer practiced among the sophisticated Jews of modern times, again, these are his words, not mine.
Sure.
Among the more backward Jews, forgive me, okay? This is,
Right.
I'm quoting.
I gotcha.
Among the more backward Jews of Asia and Africa, it is still in vogue. The magical effect of prayers for rain is still believed in devoutly. Yeah.
Interesting. We'll have to look up like Jewish rainmakers at some point, because that sounds like an interesting little side venture.
Rabbit hole. Yeah. But I just want to apologize. I'm not calling anybody backward. I cannot stress enough that those were not my words.
Right.
So that's all I'm going to read from the introduction.
Okay.
I just thought that had a lot of importance on what we're getting into. And there's not a lot of stories I'm going to read, and they're real short.
Okay. Yeah.
This one is called He Whistled for the Glory of God on page 159.
Question is, did he whistle while he worked?
He did. In fact, he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Rabbi Zisha, the brother of the seer Elimelech, was a devout man. He held himself small in spite of his renown, and was always fearful that out of vanity he might preen himself as a man of God. One time he paid a visit to Rabbi Mordecai. As the hour of midnight approached, he got out of bed and in a voice full of anguish cried out, "God, oh my soul, I love you so much, yet I lack the inner power to express it." I mean, that's how I am with boys. Like, oh, I just like this boy so much. I mean, not now, but like when I was in school, right? Like,
right.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm sure you had those crushes that were just so hard and you just wish that you could say it and you don't even have the words, right?
For sure.
Yeah. He paced to and fro in his room, repeating these strange, passionate words over and over again with the deepest mortification. All this while his host, Rabbi Mordecai, stood with a companion behind the door, marveling greatly at what they heard. After a few moments of silence, they heard Rabbi Zisha exclaim, "Oh, my Creator, I do not know how to commune with you, for my thoughts are confused and my words stumble one upon the other. But, dear Lord, I have one insignificant talent. I can whistle.
Oh.
So let me whistle in order that I may glorify your name."
Hey, there you go.
Thereupon, the stillness of the night was broken by a rapturous whistling. It was like the song of a bird trilling in the sun.
Wow.
It was like the whisper of the leaves when the wind blows through them. It was like the chant of the cherubim and the seraphim, winging in joy to the throne of the Almighty. When Rabbi Mordecai heard the whistling, he began to tremble.
Oh.
"Come," he cried to his companion, "let us get away from here before the flames of this holiness consume us."
What?
Right?
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah. So much God in that room. We got to go.
But does he worried because he's sinful or not?
No,
Just
too
like,
much God.
Too much God.
There's too much God up in this house.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut that whistling out, man. There's too much God.
I gotta tell you, speaking of whistling,
you hate whistling.
I hate whistling.
I love whistling
so much. Like we talk about trigger warnings. Like I am never so triggered as when somebody is whistling. I wish I wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not like I like pink instead of blue or whatever.
You've probably heard me since we've been at this new house, like whistling in the basement. Because I love whistling.
I know.
And there's great acoustics down there. Like it just like echoes off the walls.
And I've told you before, like it comes up the vent. And you can't hear me, but I can hear everything you're doing down there.
Right.
Yeah. So we like our new house, by the by.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next story I'm going to read is called The Long and the Short of It on page 160.
Okay.
Once one of Rabbi Eleazar's students was reading the service at a leisurely pace. At this, his fellow students complained how he drags out the prayers. Does he pray any longer than Moses, our teacher, whose devotion on Mount Sinai lasted 40 days and 40 nights?
My God, I hope not.
Oh, burn though, right? Like he's like, get over yourself.
Right.
Sometime later,
that's
another student.
That's like when you don't finish your food and people are like, there's starving children in China.
I was going to say
Whatever.
Africa.
Yeah, Africa. Right.
Yeah. Sometime later, another student was officiating at prayer, and he, on the contrary, raced through the service like a whirlwind. Blah, 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 like those medical commercials. And at the very end, they say, "Make us diarrhea." And blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? This drug will probably kill you.
Those are like my favorite fucking bits of those commercials. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Like
That's
at the
awful.
beginning, like it's all sunshine and flowers and grass, and they talk so slow and melodic.
Right.
And then at the very end, the voice drops really low, and they're like, "This will probably kill you."
Yeah, yeah.
How fast he reads the prayers, his fellow students complained. Is his praying briefer than that of Moses, our teacher, when he prayed for the recovery of his sister Miriam with the words, "Heal her, O God"?
No, probably not, I guess.
So I thought that was kind of cool. He's like saying, it's the intent. Don't fucking worry about it.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
No, that's a good, it's a good story.
I like that.
I think that applies to a lot more than just prayer.
Yes, I agree. The next one I'm going to read is the Tailor's Prayer, again on page 160. And I told you these were like super short.
Right.
On the evening of the Day of Atonement, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdividical, the poor man's rabbi, asked an illiterate tailor, "Since you couldn't read the prayers today, what did you say to God?" "I said to God," replied the tailor, "Dear God, you want me to repent of my sins, but my sins have been so small. I confess there have been times when I failed to return to the customers the pieces of leftover cloth. When I could not help it, I even ate food that was not kosher."
Oh, dang.
But really, is that so terrible? Now take yourself, God. Just examine your own sins.
Damn.
Right? I knew you'd like this one. You have robbed mothers of their babies and have left helpless babies orphans. So you see that your sins are much more serious than mine.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, God, let's make a deal.
I like this guy.
You forgive me and I'll forgive you.
Oh,
you foolish man, cried Rabbi Levi. You let God off too easily. Just think, you were in an excellent position to make him redeem the whole Jewish people.
Wow.
Right?
That's amazing. I love it.
That's got to be my favorite story that we've read.
If there's ever recognition of, like, wow.
So you guys know then, right?
Yeah.
You admit it? God sucks? God's a dick? Like, I'm pretty sure that this story says that the Jews know that God's a dick.
That's my favorite one. I love that. That's awesome.
Okay, so the next one is called The Drunkard's Prayer.
Okay.
On page 161.
All right.
The rabbi was at the point of death, so the Jewish community proclaimed a day of fasting in the town in order to induce the heavenly judge to commute the sentence of death.
Okay.
On that very day, when the entire congregation was gathered in the synagogue for penance and prayer, the town drunkard went to the village tavern for schnapps. When another Jew saw him do this, he rebuked him, saying, "Don't you know this is a fast day and you're not allowed to drink? Why, everybody's at the synagogue praying for the rabbi."
Okay.
So the drunkard went to the synagogue and prayed, "Dear God, please restore the rabbi to good health so that I can have my schnapps." The rabbi recovered, and it was considered a miracle.
Yeah.
He explained it in the following way. "May God preserve our village drunkard until it is 120 years. Know that his prayer was heard by God when yours were not. He put his whole heart and soul into that prayer." So you can see why I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I do believe that brings us to an end.
Well, those are some
today.
pretty good ones. I
Right?
like them, yeah.
We got some good chuckles out of those.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I told you that you might want to give this one a chance. I think you'll like it.
I think that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Jewish people in general. Many of them seem to be very able to laugh at their religion. Like not laugh at it, but like laugh with it, maybe.
Acknowledge that, yeah, I know. It's not everything that it, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm not saying across the
say.
board, because there are definitely, like, I mean, there's communities, and I know, like, when COVID started, communities of hardcore Jewish people that are like, they will not allow certain things because this, that, or the other, and they cause problems and spread diseases. There's things that are wrong because of their religion sometimes too, but I mean, many of them are very good-humored about it.
Good humored. I think that sums it up.
Yeah. And that was some examples of some good humor about it. I liked it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Are you surprised that the section that you like the most thus far is the one that falls under the power of prayer?
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely that caught me off guard. So
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
yeah, no, definitely. So that was our book club for today.
It sure was.
And in a little bit here, I will be getting together our weekly recap.
Mm-hmm.
or weekly replay as you call it, I guess.
Yes.
And then we will be back tomorrow with...
Job chapter 11?
Yep, that is correct. All right, we will see you guys then.
Yep, bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.